What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here. In this one, we got some good and bad injury news here for the Wolverines ahead of the big-time matchup against Oklahoma. We go over that. Plus, Michigan football reveals their uniform combination for the road game against Oklahoma. We also go over how Bryce Underwood performed in practice this week, how the receivers are doing, as that is one position group who has to step up against Oklahoma. Ron Bellamy also spoke on that to the media. And we also go over a potential new flip target at the linebacker position for the Wolverines. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so Michigan football has a big one tomorrow night against Oklahoma on the road. We already made a preview video, keys to the game, everything you guys need to know going into that matchup. We made that video yesterday if you guys missed it. We did get news today that the Wolverines will be wearing maize pants on the road with white tops, obviously, and also what looks like white accessories. And I tell you what, it is going to be very cool seeing these two uniforms and helmets out there on the same field going up against each other between Oklahoma and Michigan, two blue blood football programs. And it should be a great matchup, one in which if the Wolverines win, could solidify themselves as a college football playoff contender, no doubt. Obviously, with the loss, they're still going to have many other chances, as it is a pretty favorable schedule for the Wolverines. A lot of road games, though, but if they do win on the road against Oklahoma, their playoff chances go up mightily. So those are the jerseys Michigan will be wearing. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that, and also your guys' favorite road jerseys. Now, me personally, on the road, I do like the maize pants, but I also like maize accessories, not the white accessories. Both are clean looks, but I think the maize accessories look a little bit better on it. That's just my opinion, though. But we do got some injury news here, good and bad here for the Wolverines. We'll first start with the bad, and we'll first start with safety Rod Moore, as it still doesn't seem like he will be playing against Oklahoma. There was a chance, but according to Chris Ballas of On3 and the Wolverine, some still don't expect Rod Moore to play, as he is still working his way back, but never say never, although it would be a surprise to see him back out there Saturday night. We've said in the past, though, sooner rather than later for him to return. It would have been huge to get him back for the game against Oklahoma. We still might see him out there, but right now it seems like it would be a surprise. But hopefully Michigan can get him back for Big Ten play in that first game against Nebraska potentially. And then also, according to Chris Ballas, it appears there is another injury on the offensive side, as a skill position player with a lower leg injury. He was a non-participant later in the week, did have a brace on, doesn't appear to be too serious, but we will have to wait and see here. So hopefully it isn't a major player for the Wolverines, and maybe we'll find out later tonight or definitely tomorrow when the availability report comes out. But you just hope it's not a big time offensive player, especially in the wide receiver room, because right now Michigan definitely need some receivers here, and their key receivers to step up, catch the ball for Bryce Underwood tomorrow. But the good news is tight end Hogan Hansen should be good to go in this game against Oklahoma. He was a full participant in practice, so the Wolverines should be getting their backup tight end in here for the game against Oklahoma. But Hogan Hansen is one tight end that should get some playing time, and Bryce Underwood should like him as a target as well. That tight end room, very, very talented, and Hogan Hansen is only a true sophomore, so it'll be big to get him back. And as far as how Bryce Underwood performed, he had a great week of practice, was on the money with some deep balls, also with an expanded playbook, as the Wolverines will obviously look to open things up against Oklahoma. But it still does seem like some receivers are having some trouble hauling in some of his bullets of passes that Bryce Underwood has. So Michigan's going to need receivers to step up and haul some of these catches in here for Underwood. That was obviously a problem against New Mexico, about 4 or 5 incomplete passes that Underwood had. It wasn't his fault. It was the receivers not hauling them in. So they got to be on their A game in this one against Oklahoma. You can't have and afford, a third down pass to be dropped in this game. So these receivers got to help out their young true freshman quarterback. And while we're talking about this Michigan-Oklahoma game, are you using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football? Because if not, you're missing out. This Saturday night I'm taking Justice Haynes to rush for more than 68.5 rushing yards. He had 159 yards versus New Mexico. I think it continues. And I'm also taking John Mateer to pass for more than 232.5 yards, because I don't think Oklahoma is going to have much success on the ground. I think most of the yards going to come through the air with John Mateer. So let me know what you guys think, and use promo code MST and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. But let's go ahead and continue here. And while we're talking about the receivers, I do want to talk about what wide receivers coach Ron Bellamy said to the media. And they know that the drops are a problem in the wide receiver room. He said, I think the big thing is you continue to stay on the jugs and emphasize it. Drops are a teachable moment. Why did you drop the ball? Balls, whether it's low, it's high, whatever, the ball touched your hand and you make the catch. We're just detailing that out, putting it on film, and the guys understand it. Obviously, one young wide receiver who did struggle in the New Mexico game was Andrew Marsh. He's going through the growing pains right now. He fumbled on a kick return and also didn't turn around on a pass that would have been a pretty big gain. So, he said that I think you always show guys you're confident in them. Obviously, from an offensive standpoint and special teams, he went back out there, just showed that we believe in him. Obviously, you just got to be very critical about ball security, and guys understand that. It's something that he's worked on, and he's working on it constantly every day. Not just him though, everyone on our team, we emphasize ball security every day. As far as some missed passes from Underwood, Bellamy still said, I'm always going to put it on the receiver. But Underwood in the New Mexico game didn't have many misses, especially for a true freshman quarterback out there. And going on the road in Norman, these receivers obviously got to step up. Bellamy said this is a top 25 matchup on the road. And what are you going to do when adversity hits? What kind of team are you going to be? Individually, as a player, they're going to make plays. What are you going to do? So he said, I think you find a lot about your team in that regard, especially early in the season. And we're definitely going to find out what kind of team we got here, and find out a lot more about this team here on the road against Oklahoma. But it's a great opportunity. It's two teams, two programs who are hungry going into this one. Both of them want and need a statement win. And hey, pressure is a privilege. How are these players going to respond to the pressure going on the road, the noise? True freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood, how is he going to respond to this environment? We're going to find a lot more about this team on Saturday night, but I absolutely cannot wait, because it should be an electric matchup, both defenses, and what a quarterback matchup we got between Bryce Underwood and John Mateer. But again, the big advantage Michigan has, I think, is that defensive line going up against their offensive line. If Oklahoma can't run the ball, I think Michigan's got a good chance of winning this, because it's very hard to beat a team one-dimensional, especially a defense like Michigan's. But it's also going to come down to mistakes. Which quarterback will make more mistakes, which quarterback will make less mistakes, might be the difference maker here in this one. But I also want to talk about some recruiting news here in this video. Potential flip target at the linebacker position here for the Wolverines, and that is the 2026 three-star linebacker, current Iowa commit Billy Waivoda from the state of Georgia, goes to Milton High School. They recently entered the mix, and according to Bryce Merritt of the Michigan Insider, Waivoda told the Michigan Insider that they hit my phone up while I was in school, and when I got out, he hopped on the phone, had a great conversation, they pulled the trigger. It's a blessing, and it's definitely one offer he's taking a hard look at. He said, I will say my options are still open. He is unsure if he will take a visit to Michigan yet, but that is one potential flip target right there. So I did just want to mention that. As far as DQ Forkpaw, another top linebacker target, seems like Florida State definitely made a move with him, as he was on campus to witness their win over Alabama, but Michigan's still in the mix there. So that's an update on linebacker recruiting. But with that, big one tomorrow against Oklahoma. Absolutely cannot wait. But if you guys did go ahead to enjoy this video, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more. If you are new around here, I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.